Hello. As you may have seen, I've been pretty distant from the channel. I mean, I'm already inconsistent, but it's been, I think, 2, maybe 3 months since we've had multiple videos be on the channel. And not to be like a Debbie Downer, but the views have been, let's call them what, let's be honest. Let's be honest here. And so I kind of just want to talk about what has been going on and, yeah, what's been going on and what comes next, I guess. Now, I've mentioned many times in like the comment sections and in posts about the drinking games and like everything that's been going on with YouTube, but I need to do like the full story of everything, and I haven't been able to really talk about it because there's more factors at play than just me. There's more people involved than just me, and so out of like respect for them and sometimes out of like contractual obligations, I haven't been allowed to like speak on the things that I've wanted to speak on, and now I feel like I have the agency and the ability to, but still I'm gonna keep it vague. One, out of respect for other people that were involved, but also like I'm not here to like throw anybody under the bus. I've already made that mistake. If you know, you know. So I just want to give you the timeline, and I'll try to be as transparent as possible, but some things will still be kind of vague. Okay, so before we even get into where we're currently at, we actually need to go back and start the timeline at September of 2023. As you guys know, or you may not know, that was probably like the height or the peak of my channel, that 2022, 2023, Your Bud Tevin run. Those drinking games were crazy. That was like the peak of my, collabs. Everything was going really, really well. And so I kind of wanted to upscale. And several things happened around that time. I was living in a bigger house. I had moved into a bigger house in order to have people that worked with me or for me to move in with me, and we were going to do everything in-house. I signed to a new agency that was supposed to get me like better deals and get me closer to the kind of people that I wanted to work with. And all in all, I was just like really ready to take that next step. What I didn't really realize is that drinking games are really, really bad for business. No brand wants to work with alcohol at all, let alone alcohol that is drank the way that we be drinking it over on this channel. And not just that, collabs don't really want to do it either. It's very, very hard to get people involved with the drinking games, even when it's for like fun. A lot of people see it as like really, really dangerous, obviously, which it can be. And so things started to taper off. As soon as I signed to this agency, things started to taper off. I also wanted to sign with this agency because drinking games were not the long-term goal of this channel. They never were. The long-term goal of this channel was to always do fun events that got a lot of people together. And I felt like the more that I leaned into the drinking games, especially the anime drinking games, the more I kind of niched myself into the anime role, which I'll speak on later. But that pigeonhole feeling, I started to feel very reminiscent of the Persona 5 era of my channel. And if anybody's been around for that long, you'll know that I was not happy when that was happening. So I could feel the same sentiment start to happen around September 2023. I talked to my agency. I was like, what can I do? And they said, I think it's super possible for you to start streaming and become like a mainstream streamer. And so that's what I did. I started making some plans and getting things together to make my big reveal in January 2024. And in January 2024, I came out of the woodwork and I launched this big reveal that I was going to try and master 50 games in 52 weeks, which is one game per week of the year. And I wanted to start with a big 30-day, month-long League of Legends training arc. And I thought that this was like a really cool idea, that a lot of you guys were going to want to see it, and it would be really interesting, and I was going to put a lot of effort into it, and it bombed. Now, obviously, looking back on it, I don't know why I thought that I could just immediately transition my channel from hardcore only anime and drinking and video, or anime drinking reactions, to League of Legends gaming, and somehow the wires would just immediately cross. But that was my genuine goal and hope. And I even started streaming on YouTube. And not only was it a failure, The people that were watching were like super dickheads, actually, to the point where like I was breaking down on stream and shit. It was not good. It was not good. So it was an ultimate failure. And not only was it a failure, it was such an extreme failure that it actually fucked up the algorithm for my channel. Because I did that for almost a full month, my algorithm like hard crashed to where even the anime drinking games that we posted after that were a fraction of the views that we had gotten previously. And you can go and look, like nothing that I'm saying is like crazy. You can actually just go look at the channel and see the viewership just wasn't there anymore, because this is still a business and I still have to like feed myself as well as pay employees and stuff like that. We made the decision to ultimately cancel it, but that was a month of work that went down the drain. More than a month, actually, because I did 2 months of it. I did January and February of 2024, and it ended up going, down the drain. So not only did we lose money, not only did we stagnate because we didn't create, more drinking games or build upon what we already had, but we actually took several steps back because the decision was a failure. I try to continue to set things up and do different things while also trying to sprinkle in a little bit of the drinking games here and there. But ultimately, no, it just seemed like no matter what I did, it was kind of a failure. Which, that's just, you charge it to the game. You can't honestly be too mad about that. This is why in a lot of the posts early on, I talked about just quitting the drinking games. One, out of my health, which was true. My health was on like a steady decline at that point in time. Like my physical health was on a steady decline at that point in time. And it got so bad that a lot of you guys were starting to call me like fat in the comment section. And it was very often that I was getting called like just fat. A lot of people were like making fun of me. And then and a lot of people acted like I couldn't see those. Like I still do read the comments. And so that was kind of one thing that was weighing on me. But as well as, like I said, my agency at the time said, if you want to get a lot of these better brand deals, we need basically the current numbers that I had for the anime drinking game and stuff like that, but on different videos. As well as the agency that I was working with, they wanted me to stream more because they worked more closely with streamers. And so I was trying to make things work, and I was trying to make that transition over, but it just wasn't working as well as we wanted it to. A lot of it was just my ideas weren't very good, and I didn't plan correctly for the current market, the current meta of content, which is like clipping and being live a lot, and having like a bunch of people work for you while you're just always on the screen. But the second part of it was just like things just didn't work out the way that I wanted them to, and it was a very hard time for me behind the scenes as well. So using that as like the baseline, now that you know like where we started, you can see how slowly across 2024 it just kind of circled the drain. Everything started to go downhill from there because our algorithm got fucked up from January and February. It took a lot of effort with edits, and like I had to go back to doing the drinking games just to like stay afloat until we could figure out what to do next. And because I was pushing way more drinking, like because we were behind, we had to push way more drinking games out. And because we pushed way more drinking games out, the editors started to burn out. And this is like the main thing that I actually wanted to talk about. Tevin, where are like all the videos now? The main reason, and we'll come back to this when I catch up on the timeline, is that editors burn out. And these videos that we make, the anime drinking games, are a very difficult product to make, even for editors, right? YouTube editing is overworked and underpaid. Editing in general is overworked and underpaid, but YouTube is like bottom of the barrel in terms of like the pay that you get for the work that you do. And the anime drinking game specifically is one of the most difficult things to make because A, you're working with copyright, 2, you're working with alcohol, you're working with video, and you're working with 3 cameras, 3 different audios, and you're kind of mashing them all together over the course of like 4 hours, and you have to turn it into a 1-hour video. It is extremely, extremely difficult, even for like 3 editors, which at one point we had 3 editors working on each drinking game at a time, and it would still take about 1 to 2 weeks for 3 people to do it, let alone one person doing it. As they burn out, less and less people are available to work, and now they're doing it. One person is doing the entire thing. That's going to take like 3 weeks. It's impossible to do. It's impossible to do, to be honest. even if we try to make a backlog, that would require me drinking all the time, which is terrible for my health, and I'll never, as much as you guys think I'm an alcoholic, I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not going to set myself up to be drinking all the time to be hurting myself. And then editors could not possibly keep up with that pace. So the TLDR on where the video's at is because editors are burnt out and it's hard to even find one to keep for a long time. And we're trying to work with something new. Okay. Anyway, going back to the timeline, editors are burning out. I've lost all of them at this point, except for 1 to 2. The algorithm is shit. My videos are just not getting pushed out. My health mentally and physically is just drained at this point because I'm clawing just to get back to the position that we were at in 2023. On top of the fact, because I'm doing the drinking games just to get back to stay afloat, and I can't stream and I can't do my new ideas, my agency made the decision to drop me in September of 2024. I had a 1-year contract with them. They were going to try and set me up. It didn't work out the way we wanted it to. And so I was dropped, which at that time was very, very difficult for me. And it set off a chain of events that I can only describe as the absolute worst month of my life for September, and then the absolute worst year of my life being the middle part of 2024 up to June of 2025. So in September of 2025, in the span of less than a month, my agency had dropped me. My relationship ended. I had lost one of my best friends, not as in they passed away or anything, but we had decided we were no longer going to be friends over some irreconcilable differences. And then one of the few things kind of pulling me back together is I had a very big collab lined up. I'm not going to talk about who was involved with it, but if you know, you know. And it blew up. It blew up to things that were not my fault. And I was very, very angry about it. I lashed out. It is very easy to find the clips of the people that I'm talking about, one in particular. And I was angry. And after that moment, everything kind of blew up in my face. I felt like I had lost it all. It felt like it was over. The dream games weren't doing that well anymore. None of my new stuff was doing that well. I was holding on, but I wasn't doing great. My health was bad. I had no more relationship, or my relationship was over. My agency was gone. I had nothing. I literally had nothing. On top of that, the big house that I was in, now everybody was supposed to work in-house, and none of the editors could actually make the move over, so I was overpaying at this house, was hemorrhaging money, and I had to emergency move into where I'm at now in order to save money and get my head back on straight. And it only got worse as we moved into 2025. My mental health struggled. If you guys don't know, I'm bipolar. I have bipolar disorder. I'm type 2. And so already naturally things can get bad. They got worse. And from January to June, it was like a slow decline. And I went into psychosis. I went into stress-induced psychosis around June. And for a variety of reasons, all the things that had happened from September up to that point, everything that had gone so negatively the past year since 2024. And then I started to notice a lot of things that were happening in the content world that I just didn't know if I could accept. Call it me being naive, call it me being innocent, whatever. But I started to learn about how content business worked, especially the relationships formed between people in content. And it made me scared. It made me nervous. I didn't want to sacrifice a lot of my integrity for what I thought was how we were supposed to handle things. But it turned out that, things that happen behind the scenes are a lot of times even worse than the things that happen on screen. So that realization plus all those things that had happened across the past couple months hit me square in the face. And I lost my mind. I quite literally lost my mind. It took me 6 weeks. A little under a month of treatment, and then 3 extra weeks to really get my head on straight. And during that time, I really just thought to myself, like, what do I want to do? Like, this is a real make or break moment. Do I retire? Do I, what do I want to do? And it kind of weighed on me super heavily, but the answer was always the same. And that's just, I love content. I love being a content creator. I love doing YouTube as a job. I love streaming as a job. It just always feels like I can't have my cake and eat it too. It always felt like I was trying to have it my way instead of actually working within the structure of how content works. And if you want to be, as great as you say you want to be, or if you want people to like really fuck with the vision, basically, you really need to like put the effort into, be the clown on the stage that you have to be. And I was unwilling to sacrifice that. Now, going into July of this year, I realized that I do still want to do this. I do still want to do this, and I do still think that I have the ability to be a very entertaining and good content creator and create something that you guys want to watch, have fun with, and enjoy. But I do feel like I have to make this video in order to explain to you where we go from here and what kind of channel this, or the second channel that I never used and the third channel that I never used, should be. So I have questions for you and also statements for you. The first being that I am coming back to this channel. I love this channel. Like, I've had this thing since 2010. My channel is older than PewDiePie's. You can go look it up. And I really just want to keep making content here. With that being said, the drinking games, like I've talked about this whole time, are something that I don't really want to do all the time. I still think that they're really fun to do occasionally, like any other, YouTuber or whatever does like a truth or drink every now and then. I would love to continue to do little drinking games here and there. But I don't think that that is the kind of content that I want to make. A, it's way too hard for it to be a staple. And B, it's just not really good for my health. I worked really hard to get back in shape. I don't know if you noticed, but I worked really hard to get back in shape, and I don't really want to go back to it. As well as anime YouTube is not for me, I don't think. I think that slowly over time, I ended up in like the anime YouTube space, and that's kind of not where I ever wanted to be. I just kind of wanted to be like one of the mainstream, like stream people, a la like Ludwig or the FaZe guys right now, or like I wanted to be in that space pretty much the entire time. And as I've like alluded to that with like videos or streams where I interact with these people, a lot of like my fan base personally has no clue what is going on. And I feel like that is sort of my fault for not pushing myself in that direction first and like letting you guys know that that's always where I've wanted to be. But that's the plan. That's where I've wanted to go this entire time. I'm going to be coming back starting in October of this year, but the videos are going to be very different. Like I've tried to do a billion times by now, I have been full-time streaming. I full-time streamed this entire September month. If you want to come hang out, twitch.tv/rebrand. And I did a lot of silly little challenges in order to, set myself up. I did a full September thing in order to fund, this next portion of the operation. This is a very long-winded way of me saying that I just want to be a full-time streamer and introduce myself to the mainstream of content creators as Tevin, and that's where I'd like to go. Because I know that this channel was predicated and really blew up off of two things: one, Persona, and then two, the anime drinking games, which are like a little bit linked. But this new venture would be a far cry from either one of those things, which I know would destroy the algorithm. A lot of y'all would unsubscribe. But I did want to ask you a question. If I make videos like that, would you want to see them here on this main channel? Or would you like to see them on the Your But Tevin live channel, which is a second channel? I don't even know if you guys know about that channel. But since it's becoming my main thing now, I wanted to know if you wanted to see those videos here. Now, you do not need to lie to me in order to, oh, Tevin, I'll watch whatever you make. Go check them 10 out of 10s, twin. Like, you don't have to lie about whether you want to be here. If you want to continue to watch like anime and anime related stuff, like it's completely all good. I just need to know if that is something that you would be interested in interacting with from me. If that's not, then we can post them on the second channel. but I like this main channel. And to be honest, if I'm not posting the stream videos to here, I don't really know what I'm doing with this main channel. The drinking games will be few and far between. Maybe we'll do one like once every couple of weeks. But that's it. I don't really have any major plans for this channel because long form content will mainly come from the streams. So I wanted to know your guys' opinions. Please be as honest as possible. You are not hurting my feelings. I just need to know where to send things for you. And finally, like, what is to come? Tevin, what kind of content are you going to be making? What are you going to be doing? I'm going to be going full mainstream stream mode, which means the TikTok's about to start going crazy. The Instagram's going to start going crazy. Full streams are coming up. I have really cool ideas and collabs that I want to do with people. That's basically where I want to go with this. I want to be considered one of the all-time greats of streaming, and I want to start putting the work in to see if I can make that happen. So I guess the only thing that's left is that I plug myself to you guys. If you want, you can follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, and on TikTok. That's where a lot of these posts are going to start pulling up at. I full-time stream pretty much every day now at Twitch, at twitch.tv/yourbudtevin. I also have a Discord you can join in the description down below. That is like the most popular place. That's where most of the community goes and hangs out at the moment. And I guess here in the second channel, Your Bud Tevin Live, which is going to be where you're going to see the clips and the highlights of those streams. And the last thing that I want to say is thank you. I've been really, really grateful for this to be my job. I've wanted to do this since I was like 10 years old. And the fact that I could live out my dreams as a YouTuber, streamer, content creator, whatever, has always been the highest praise, or the thing that I'm most proud of in my life. And if you got even 1 second of enjoyment of any video of mine, I am eternally grateful. I think that's it. I think you're all caught up on everything now. I hope that clears up all the confusion, because a lot of you guys are like, I thought you quit drinking games. I thought why are you doing drinking games all the time now? That was the timeline. There were a lot of times where we wanted to quit. I've basically wanted to quit this whole time, or at least slow them down, but we just couldn't. The algorithm was, anything that's not that is getting, 1/10 the views, and it's destructive when you have a full brand and business built already. You can't take steps backwards like that anymore. You can't put in 100% of your effort for 1/10 of the money in returns when you're trying to grow. Anyway, that's it. I appreciate you guys for hearing me out. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments. I will be reading these immediately. I just want to know what the community thinks. And I'll see you later. Hope to see you soon.